Hi there, I'm just going to give you a quick setup video on the Keiser bike. I've gotten a Keiser bike, I love it. And for setup, you want to make sure that you set up for whatever mode of shoes you have on. So I wear clips, I wear clip-in shoes instead of running shoes. So I've got that set up for myself. It is a different setting, so wear the shoes that you're going to be cycling with to set up. Okay, because there's a bit of a difference in height from one to the other. So I like my seat right here. It's just at my bone, where my hip, my hip bone is up here. It's not down here. It's way up here. So you're going to take those bones where you would measure your hips, your midriff. So your iliac crest, it's called. So you would check there, and if the seat is right there, that's perfect. That's one way to check. It gets a bit more refined. So you would set it up right there. Make sure it's set up nice and tight. Then there's the seat forward and backward. So the way you would set that up is you would get on. So we'll get on first. And we'll show you the second setting for height. So we checked at the hip bone. It also depends on inseam length. So for me, I like to have a soft bend in my knee. So as I come around with my foot not pointed, which is another great reason to have clip-in shoes and to invest in them, with my foot not pointed, but in the position that the bike cleat naturally is. So a great way to describe that is to be wiping doggy doos off the sole of your feet. So you're not flexing per se, you're not pointing, you just have a natural position where your arch of your foot would be coming around the bottom, not the arch, but the actual ball of your foot. So you're leading with the ball of your foot. And you should have a soft bend in your knee. So if I go up to the next height, it's going to be too high. So A, when I stand, I'm going to really hit the seat as I come around. And B, if I'm pedaling and the seat's too high, my knee's going to want to kind of hyperextend at the bottom, and it's really easy to do that. So as I'm seated, I have my soft bend in my knee when my foot is down to the bottom. Now the forward backward of the seat, you would put your foot parallel to the floor, and with your shoulders back and a nice hip hinge forward, soft bend in the elbows, so we'll get into the distance of the handlebars in a second. You would have your, you would look over this knee. So this is a quick check. You're going to look over the knee, and if you can see from your knee, if you can see your entire foot, your seat is way too far back. So if my seat were way too far back, it would be really, really difficult on my knee. It's not a good thing. So I'm going to sit here, look over the front of my knee, look down, and I can see only from about here to the tip of my toe. And that's how I like it. So the other way you would check that out is have somebody hang a pendulum from your kneecap, just at your kneecap, straight down, and that pendulum should hit right where the ball of the foot hits into the pedal. So and if you are strapped in, same sort of thing. So if you're strapped in, that's probably an easier way to check, is just to look over when you're forward, look over the knee. And if you see too much of your foot, you're too far back. If you see none of your foot, your seat's way too far forward. So you're going to have a lot of pressure on the knee. So you want to make sure that you get that taken care of and set up properly. So that feels like a really comfortable ride for me. And when I put my gear up, minimum gear standing on a Keiser bike should always be 14. So you should never stand with little resistance. Little tip there. When I'm out of the seat and I'm cycling standing, my butt is just grazing the seat, so there's a little tap. You get used to it. And some people go, I don't like that. But if it really bothers you, just adjust it slightly down, but I recommend keeping it here. And we'll go into the handlebars. So I mentioned with the handlebars, you want a soft bend in the arm. If you like, some cyclists, road cyclists, like their handlebars really low because it makes them feel like they're actually on a road bike. That's okay. That's up to them. It's personal preference. If you have back issues, I recommend having your handlebars higher up. So with the Keiser bike, the handlebars kind of angle out. So you have to really watch when you adjust your handlebars upwards in height that you also adjust this part, the handlebars, it's themselves. So they go forward and backward. So that's a lovely thing. So for that, you would make sure, so same thing here, you unscrew, you pull out, just like you would in the back seat. You pull out, you unscrew, you pull it out, and you adjust the height. And then you make sure it's tight again. There's little holes that the handle, that the mechanism goes into. And then for here, you pull down, you loosen, and you would take that handlebar forward or backwards. So you have to pull it down, loosen it up, take it forward, backwards to its spot, put it back in place, and it'll pop back up. And that, in a nutshell, is it.